Hello and welcome to episode 10, or a meta episode, or no, it's episode 14 of the Journeys in Fandom podcast.
It's episode Hand in a Jar.
Yes, episode Hand in a Jar. So, if you hadn't have guessed, we're going to talk more about Doctor Who.
Yes.
That's what we talk about nowadays.
It seems to be the hot topic of the last 4 weeks. How can It's crazy.
Yes.
It's been 4 weeks since it started.
Yeah. I made sure I wore a different Christmas jumper just to prove I own more than one.
Yes, fans, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? That's
Yes.
episode for another day. But I agree, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's just yes. That's the episode. Done. So, episode 14A then.
Yes. Oh, Lord. We've done far too many of these. It's too close together.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Oh, God, yeah. We were going to talk about our favourite episodes of Doctor Who from Old Who and New Who.
Yes.
However, the specials happened and we want to talk about them some more. So
Yes.
we might have time to talk about our favourite and episodes, but who knows? We might not. We'll find out.
Who would have guessed that changing canon would have such a ripple effect on fandom as this? It's like it's happened before.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Admittedly, just before we pressed record, I did see a tweet that said, "Oh no, there's another Doctor hanging around, so I can do a spin-off series with Tennant and not worry about it, and it will detract from a new Doctor." That's a picture of like the Meta Crisis 10, and I went, "Yeah, valid."
Yeah, and he did want to do a Rose spin-off, didn't he, way back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
But whether Billie Piper would come back and do it, I don't know. But because it is all the Whooniverse now, and multiverses are the big thing. So we've got to cash in on the multiverse.
Well, to be honest, is the whole Whooniverse thing detracting from what Doctor Who... actually, that's my question for you, Mr. Tim.
Oh, God,
so,
Lord.
The Whooniverse, does that detract or does it add value to the core product?
Well...
i.e. Doctor Who.
Trying to think from experience of multiverse stuff. Okay, Marvel, slightly different context, but look how much mired in nonsense Marvel has become when they they've gone down the route of these things. Now, I guess if Doctor Who doesn't go down multiverse nonsense and just sticks with this group of characters here, this group of characters here, this group of characters here in the same universe, it would work. So they've not really talked about what it's going to be. Now, spoilers, they might put an 8th Doctor series out, but where's that going to sit? And I think we're going to talk about that in a minute in terms of where would that sit. But you could do a unit spin-off if it's on Earth. That would work. That would be quite good. The likes of, like we talked about, didn't we? Sarah Jane's Adventures class would have fitted into that thing, but they haven't got anything else at the moment. It's just the main show.
So I think, like, if it's a unit spin-off, what stops it just from becoming like a Stargate-y, Buffy, Monster of the Week kind of thing? What was a Marvel one they did that had Coulson in it that was bad?
Oh, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. So would Unit just be Agents of the Whooniverse?
And then if you do a load of stuff, obviously in the way they produce it, you'd do it in the gap, wouldn't you? Doctor Who be on a certain time of the year, these spin-offs would be in another. But if you did that, would it then, when it comes to a monster Earth-based unit story with Doctor Who, it becomes kind of, we've done this. Torchwood was slightly different, wasn't it? Because Torchwood was very confined to Wales, to Cardiff, and never the two shall meet. But if you're going to do something like Unit, it's going to be, unless you do Unit in Africa, well, I don't know, I was making it up, that wasn't in London, you could get away with it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Because Torchwood worked.
Torchwood did work. And when they did like Children of Earth, and that was that was a proper like world-ending threat, and they explained the lack of Doctor because he was off planet doing something.
But they can't do that now because he's sat in Donna's
sat in Donna's
garage.
garden.
Yeah, they can't do that. They haven't got that excuse anymore because they've, as we said last week, painted themselves into corner by having a fully fledged Time Lord parked up on Earth. And we'll talk about that in this episode, I think, in a bit more detail. But that concept doesn't really work anymore because there's a Time Lord sat all the time on Earth forever.
Yeah. I've realised doing this podcast that I don't sit still when I talk. I talk with my hands, and I'll sit and I'll ponder and I'll think and I move. Yes, I need to take a note from Tim's book and be more used to just sitting and talking rather than really. Yeah.
It's also I've got a microphone here, and if I swing my arms around, I'll just swat it and it'll just go away.
That's the one. Whereas I've got my snowball kind of just out of shot here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Whovians, don't know. I also think it's kind of multiverse is so 2020. It's been and done. We've kind of gone through the multiverse and we're out the other side now. It's a bit of a loose theme now.
Admittedly, all of the Big Finish productions, they are technically a multiverse, and they're just one-off stories, and they're adventures with doctors and companions from all eras. And to be, you know what? They work because they just are a self-contained. I think that's the thing. It's a self-contained story that just happens.
And the only confines of canon that they use are the Doctor regenerates at this point, so they can't go beyond it. And again, we'll come to that in a minute. But everything else is woven into the stories on TV, and it follows its own path. So like the Eighth Doctor had loads of liberties, whereas the Fourth Doctor doesn't because of the way it kind of works. Yeah.
And admittedly, the Eighth Doctor audio stuff is amazing. He's really good.
And
he's got companions that you never got to meet. And I went, this would have been fantastic. And I would have loved it. And it would have been great. And it was a what if, wasn't it? It was because there was so little, you go, actually, this could have been so cool.
Yeah. Well, he did make them canon, didn't he, in the 50th with that little...
Yes.
He name-checked them all, didn't he? So it kind of made it canon in that respect. But you know that his is by far the best. He's arguably the best Doctor we never really had. And some of his stuff is really good, especially if you follow it from the start and you kind of go through it all. It's great.
Yeah. Because then it has its own timeline that actually works.
There's quite a lot that's happened. So should we do ratings first? Because that's quite an eye-opener.
I'm excited.
Have you heard the ratings? So
no,
we had
been good.
Just recap. So Star Beast overnight got 5.08 million, and the consolidated the consolidated 7-day iPlayer whatever 7.6 million. So sorry, 7.61 million. I'll get it the official. The following week, Wild Blue Yonder, never say it right, got 4.83 million on the day, and the overnight they consolidated are in 7.14, so it was down on both.
That's what, 500,000 down, isn't it?
Yes, still higher than Jodie's last episode, but going down. No 7-day, obviously, for last week, because they tend to... It's weird, there's a little bit of a hoo-ha going on Twitter where people are accusing the BBC of not putting them out 7 days in advance, but putting them 10 days in advance and stacking on an extra 3 days to try and boost it. I don't believe that. But anyway, so last week's episode, overnight ratings 4.62. So it's gone down again, which I was surprised about. I thought it would have...
But it's a regeneration episode.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it would have bumped it a little bit and maybe got it to about 5 or just under, but it's gone down. So
out of all three, that should have been the highest rated. The number of views.
It'd be really interesting to see what the 7-day one is, because if people check in after seeing it on the news and hearing word of mouth, you'd expect the 7-day to be higher than 7.14. You'd expect, but if the pattern is going down, then it could be that the pattern stays going down. So yeah, that 7-day one is going to be really interesting. So not good, if I'm honest, not good.
And again, is it my imagination or social media, the worst invention in the world? There is no middle ground. People either love these episodes and are so, these were the best episodes that ever been written by anyone ever, I cannot be told anything else, or they hated them. There was no, that's right.
Yeah, it's weird because we talked about that a bit last week, but yeah, I've been following the comments in the last 7 days, and it is very polarizing. It's also quite not as clean cut in the media. This last episode has been getting some flack. It's not just been, wow, this is amazing, this is Return of Doctor Who. It has been getting some criticism about the way certain things were done. So it's not, it's an interesting sort of like beast, not excuse the pun, at the moment, because it's literally, this is really good or this is really bad. There's no meh middle ground.
Yeah. Right. Shall we talk about the big thing?
I've got a couple of clips because we didn't talk about this is linked to the big thing. The commentary, did we, last week? Because we went to Doctor Who Unleashed, and I didn't realise afterwards that they'd done a Phil Collinson, David Tennant, and Russell T Davies had done a commentary on the whole episode, also on iPlayer. So we missed that last week, didn't we? And it wasn't until afterwards that I was like, oh, we should have talked about that. I didn't know that was there. So there's two things on there that YouTube be damned. I'm going to play it from iPlayer, and I'll cut that out because I can't be bothered. One about something we'll talk about in a minute, the regeneration, and something else. So let me just do this.
I'm ready.
So there's that little tidbit there, because I touched on it last week. Were they going to retcon the Timeless Child? And we'll go on to it a bit more, but it's one of these throwaway comments that Russell's been making post last week. And you just think, well, is that kind of, have they kind of done that to try and satisfy the complainants without actually writing out Chris Chibnall's masterpiece?
Sorry.
It's just one of those quotes where it's like they had the opportunity to do it and they didn't do it, and they could have done it and just satisfied it, but it's like, oh no, we'll just kind of you could decide whether it's now relevant or not. We're just going to loosen the rules. That's the phrase that comes up multiple times in that commentary. It's just like, oh.
But this is again what we touched on last episode. If you're going to have a set of rules for a universe, they must apply. You must define what your rules are. For, like, classic one, regeneration. The old rules were, if the Doctor dies, he regenerates. However, if he dies so quickly he doesn't have time, it can just kill him. And I hate to say it, but a star-destroying laser beam through your chest, sorry, mate, you're done. You don't get up from that, especially without a massive great hole in your chest. It's just no. Yeah, this thing shoots out satellites. Sorry, you're dead. You're just done.
Because like with the rules with the regeneration limit, that was quite easily explained. Stephen Moffat explained it very simply that the Time Lords just gave him another set of regenerations. Simple. Yes. Done. Walked away from that.
However, then the Timeless Child ruined it.
Yeah, because that's the whole...
he doesn't have a limit.
Yeah, so why...
Because he's not a Time Lord.
Yeah, so it's little things where people try and make changes to the canon, thinking they're clever, but don't think that some of the seminal moments that have gone on in the past are now null and void. Oh, it's going to change it. But I suppose this is why Doctor Who is a slave to its history in some respect, because people like us remember things. Well, hang on a minute, what about this? And now you've changed everything. And I think in some ways fans like rules, and what Russell's doing here is he's removing the rules because it's like, it's just like, it's like hippie man, let's make it cool, let's make it this, it's all a bit loose. But we like rules, and now you've taken all the rules away. It just becomes like the Wild West. You can just do what you want, and I don't know if I like that. I don't like. I'm getting grumpy. I don't know what level of grumpiness I'm on this week. Maybe not as, but it's like, I know we like rules.
Find me a cloud.
Turn me up. But yeah, it's this kind of very flippant way of just saying, nah, it's fine. It's just,
but
we'll just make it up now.
Like we've hammered home about, if you're going to have a fictional universe, you have got to set parameters to that universe. So that otherwise nothing works, and that's the problem. It's like the episode 2 with the TARDIS in its HAD system, whatever it was. That's the most stupid invention in the world.
It's a plot device,
it just is. Yeah, it was a pure plot device. Oh no, I'm in danger. The TARDIS ran away. Case of, wait a minute, literally every time you land, it would be a problem. And yes, they'll throw a line of, I turned it off, but then I turned it on again, and who knows if it's the TARDIS is rebuilding. The TARDIS rebuilds every 3 years because you blow it up. So
yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, the whole thing of no, just no. And also, the TARDIS is basically indestructible. You've had it stand in front of an army before, and it doesn't care. So the whole it's a hostile thing. You go, what is it?
And then it comes back right at the moment it needs to.
Yeah, just behave.
Anyway, so the rules are there, and he goes on. I think we've all seen this. I think everyone's seen this, but I'll play it again for reference, just so that we know where we stand. This is where the rules get even more confusing. So there we go. There's the other.
I hate it.
It's just flippant comments. So last week, I still stand. They should have killed 14 off.
Yes.
Not that I was saying I couldn't live with the fact that there's a 14th Doctor. We'll come to that in a bit more detail. Still out there. It's annoying. But then to go and to go back and say, they're all still lived. Is this his way? There's two kind of trains of thought I've got. Is this his way of opening the door for Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker to come back without having to do all timey-wimey stuff with them? Is this a way of him creating the Whoniverse by breaking the rules so that he can bring the older actors back? Or is it just Russell T Davies going, we're just going to do something crazy, we're just going to make it up as we go along, which feels like he is making it up as we go along.
And so, okay, the whole thing of they wake up in that space, but how do they just? Okay. So statement is, bi-generation happens along the entire timeline. So every version of the Doctor now exists. But when they died, obviously they regenerate and disappear off and go. So where does this body come from? Did it just magic out of existence? Did it just happen?
Yeah.
Because obviously the split doesn't happen. And again, if you're going to have rules. How does time travel actually work in your universe? Because you go, and then suddenly, like every single regeneration, especially where it's the Doc sacrificing themselves, is instantly cheapened. 5s, 10s, a whole lot, which go, no, you're fine. You just get up and walk away.
Yeah. And also,
the whole thing, so angry.
The first Doctor died of old age. So when he wakes up again, is he going to die again? And also, you could argue the War Doctor died of old age as well.
Yeah.
So the two of them, and he laughs and jokes, Sylvester McCoy just keeps dying in a coffin and keeps regenerating. Into who? It doesn't make any sense. If it's like they haven't explained. I think if they did come out and explain what happens to 14 when he gets old, does he just die? They haven't explained that.
Yeah.
So we joked, didn't we, last week? Does he regenerate into another 15, a different 15, or the same 15? Or does he just die of an old age? That needs. I know it's kind of like fan talk, but it needs explaining. So these people are going to get old.
What rules?
Yeah.
Give us rules.
Simple thing. So they've died and they've come back to life. Do they live until they get now? Small point, but if you remember old Gollum Doctor episode, he was an old man. Tennant was an old man in a wheelchair. So obviously, Time Lords, when they don't regenerate, how old do they go to? Do they go until they're like a crusty, like little golem in a cage, or do they just die when they get to the age of 80, human age? Who knows?
Well, you saw 11 living for what was it, 1,000 odd years.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's even better example. Yeah. Well, there you go. There's my answer. He's Donna's going to be dead and buried, and he's still going to be living in the garden, isn't he? So
in the shed.
Yeah, the concept of this.
Because Tennant, so 10 regenerates into 11, and then you got the hand, and then you've got 14.
Ooh.
You're right, you got 3 bloody versions of him kicking around. Literally, 10 dies and wakes up as 10, and there's another 10 still. You've literally got 2 of the same Doctor.
10 goes into the hand, so Metacrisis. 10 revives by the hand, that's 2. 10 goes into 11, but then comes back again, that's 3. Normal 10, that's 4. 14, that's 5. So there's at least 5 versions of David Tennant out there somewhere now. At least. It's just
even trying to count them is stupid, because again, like David said, is there like 3 versions of me? You're going, well, yeah, plus the Metacrisis version.
Yeah, and all the other ones that are just splattered around for various reasons. It feels to me like it's they wanted to do the bi-generation, and actually as a core concept, like I said last week, it's a clever concept. It's never been done before.
We'll put an asterisk beside that. We'll come back to that later.
I'll rephrase that. The concept of them splitting like an atom was clever.
Yes.
But 14 should have died as part of that process eventually and left 15 on his own. He didn't do that. So they wanted to do something different. They did something different. But now, by making a flippant comment, they've kind of just go, oh, yeah, it'll be fine. In some ways, Timeless Child was bad, like level 10 bad. This is kind of not that far behind it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Equal. It's bad.
It's certainly it's on a different level. It's not prioritizing William Hartnell, but it kind of is, because it's making multiple versions of him knocking around all over the place. But it's bizarre.
Oh God! I've just had a thought.
What?
So, Timeless Child plus bi-generation. Oh Jesus!
That means there's going to be like little girl on the bottom of the cliff.
Of them.
Yeah, they're all. Is the entire population of the galaxy now the Doctor? Maybe that's going to be the big reveal at the end of this series. Is everybody's just the Doctor?
Yeah, the Doctor was in you all along.
Oh, it's going to be like the end of Buffy, isn't it?
And a million Tango just screaming.
Yeah. So there you go. There's our prediction for the end of this end of Ncuti's era. They're all going to be the Doctor.
Oh God.
And that's it.
It's Buffy 2.0.
Yeah. Wow. There
all
we go.
The potential to now layers. No, behave.
So yeah, bi-generation is a mess. It is a mess.
Again, a sensible concept ruined by one throwaway line that's actually made, like, if your commentary had been to go, well, actually, he's regenerated. He is now not going to regenerate any further. He is mortal. End of. Yeah, that throwaway line would have fixed everything.
Yeah,
but no,
made things,
no.
But they had to make it so ambiguous. Give him a TARDIS, and then just leave it open-ended. And we talked about it last week, and there's still some more comments we did talk about that have been in the press. It makes that whole concept of what does the 15th Doctor do when he's on Earth, because there's already a 14th Doctor there doing something. And a lot of people, in some of the press as well, said the Doctor, being the character that he is, would not intervene. He would intervene. And it cheapens that whole kind of Earth adventure now.
Yeah, and I think also they said about 15, trying to get my numbers right, about him doing therapy in reverse, because he'd already
we missed this. Yeah, because we said last week, didn't we, that well, hang on, 15 have all the angst of 14, but there was a throwaway line that was when they were in the TARDIS together, and he said about Time Lords do rehab in reverse or something stupid like that. So that means he's all happy and positive because 14's already done his rehab.
Yeah.
which someone pointed out. I can't. It was a YouTube video, which is actually, I hadn't considered this, but especially with New Who, especially with 9, definitely with 9, 10, and 11, and the War Doctor, they were all traumatized from the Time War, and actually just I think 12 as well. So what we're saying now is all the traits that made the Doctor interesting, all his issues with Gallifrey, Time Lords, I'm not ignoring the Timeless Child because that doesn't count, about running away, have now all gone. So all those really interesting grey areas of the Doctor's character is now gone, and he says he's happy bloke who just goes around dancing in nightclubs. Is that what we're saying now? That all the dark bits, all the angst.
Yeah. Well, the whole like oncoming storm idea, where even a Dalek would go, actually, I don't fancy that because I know what he's capable of.
Is that all gone now because he did rehab? It's still bringing back David Tennant's face. Reason for it was just weak. It was like, right, we need a reason. We've got David Tennant. Let's make something up that fits what we're trying to do. On that vein, though, there was one article from The Verge, which was interesting. Black journalist accusing RTD of being racist, which was an interesting thing from the mainstream media.
Oh, this is what you sent me, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see his point of view. The concept being very loosely that by keeping a white Doctor, aka David Tennant, in the background, it cheapens the first black male actor to play the role because the favourite has been kept in reserve. But he was also saying by keeping David Tennant still alive, if Shooty's tenure doesn't do so well, they can just replace him. And I was like, I don't necessarily agree with the racism thing, but it does bring up an interesting concept is, have they consciously or subconsciously got David Tennant in reserve again to save the series if it all goes tits up after 2 years? Don't know.
And again, even that article made like comments about even like the outfit choices and stuff.
The
fact he had him in his pants. And you go, well, does it matter? But actually, like we've pointed out for the last 4 podcasts, being straight white men, our opinion may not be valid. But actually, if you'd done it the other way around,
Tennant would have been in his pants.
Yeah.
And is there I don't know, it's kind of, you kind of look at it and go, oh, hang on a minute. Or I know what they were trying to do visually was they'd split the clothes.
Yes.
And like I said to you last week, there was no gag about the fact he wasn't wearing trousers. There should have been a gag. And there wasn't one. So it made it weird that the fact that no one mentioned it, that the fact he was just sitting there in his pants, there should have been. You could hear the brigadier going, get that man some trousers. You could actually hear someone say, no one said it. So it was a bit weird, but I can understand where they were coming from. It's a bit.
And I think like a lot of the articles are sort of saying, well, actually, most of the time there's a handing over of the torch, and this is the first time where that torch has not been handed over because of 14 is still there. And does it cheapen Shooty's first outing, to his first scene? Because you're going, well, actually, it should have just been a new Doctor. And it wouldn't have changed anything, in theory. It would have been, actually a beginning, middle, and end to the toy maker of, you've faced 3 Doctors, you've lost twice and won once. Happy days. But it's so difficult. And I think the problem is we are so invested in this to a casual fan is not going to care. And I think being not casual fans and also taking on the role of critic, we are now seeing the negatives where actually in our younger days, would we have seen the same negatives?
That's a good point, actually.
And I think is it the old joke of as we've got older and more jaded and more confident to just go, well, actually, I thought that was crap. Because again, like back in the old era, the Absorbloff was absolute garbage, and it got panned like a good one. But you just go, oh, it was just a funny throwaway episode, doesn't really matter. But actually, no, it was crap. It did not deserve to be written, and it was an absolute abomination, should be deleted from the records of all time. But hey.
Yeah. I think, like we said many times, society's changed.
Yeah.
The last tenure, Chris Chibnall has completely soured a lot of people's taste in Doctor Who. You talk about casual fans, the ratings went down for that episode. So casual fans were tuning out, potentially, which is a concern, must be a concern for them. I know they've got Disney money propping them up, but casual fans didn't come back for it. It's going to be really interesting at Christmas now, really interesting. If they don't break whatever it was, 7 accumulative for the first
we said
episode.
10, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think I'm now downgrading my prediction. If they've got to get over 7 on the night for it to have done any good, they've got to beat their 7-day record. I don't know. Yeah, they've got to get over 7. But I don't know. Our fans just not that bothered anymore and have already checked out and not coming back. I don't know. It's if Tennant and Catherine Tate can't bring her back with a bit of nostalgia. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But no, go back to your thing about being kind of negative. I think you accept. I don't know. It's difficult because I suppose we were sold a lot about this being better, and it wasn't. And I think that's part of the thing. It's like, well, yeah, I'm still going to criticise it because it wasn't great. But go looking back, to be fair, some of the stuff. Maybe not as publicly I criticised. I'm quite open that I didn't like the whole Rose Doctor love thing. Always didn't like that, and I've always said it. So, and that whole second series was not very good. Third series was brilliant. Fourth one was, again, very good. So, yeah, there's certain things I probably need to go back and watch them, to be fair, to see whether it's rose-tinted glasses, though.
Yeah. My brain's gone. Again, like the 60th celebrations not being a celebration. I think that was the other thing.
Yeah.
And I think lots of people have suggested, well, actually, it's a soft reboot and a handing over of the torch. So it's literally, okay, let's park everything that's happened up till now. That ends with Tennant.
Yeah.
So going forwards, it's all new. But because of the way they've parked it, literally in a back garden in London somewhere, you can't forget about it because, like we said, there's a fully fledged Doctor, yada, 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 with a TARDIS on Earth. So... yeah,
I think we talked about it last time. It's like instead of being self-referential and celebrating 60 years, it cut the cord from 60 years and didn't reference anything. So it's that reboot to say, right, we're not going to deal with that anymore. That's all going. They've already openly said it's not going to be sci-fi orientated anymore. It's going to be more fantasy orientated, and we've seen that from the Goblins from the Christmas episode. So it's that, right, we're going to do something completely different kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think again we've touched on this in our previous few episodes. What is Doctor Who meant to be? And I think this is the problem. What is the product they are trying to sell to us? Because actually, the old adage of madman in a box running around having adventures, that's fine. But what is that? Yeah. So are you going to have Monster of the Week? So are you going to have Buffy 2.0? Are you going to have a series-long villain? Are you going to have two-parters, one-parters? Is it going to be mini-series like old Who, where you had like little 4 or 5 part ones, and a series would be like 3 or 4 of those? Again, it's a show that evolves with each version of the Doctor, but what do they want it to actually be, and what will a modern audience actually watch?
Yeah, it's a fair point, because if you look at other classic sci-fi TV shows, they're all ensemble casts. So Star Trek, whichever version you want to choose, new Star Trek, old Star Trek, you had at least half a dozen main characters that ebbed and flowed. We talked about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Again, big ensemble cast that Doctor Who doesn't have an ensemble cast. It doesn't fit the modern mold of what a TV show is. It has two main characters, really, doesn't it? Or three at a push.
And again, it's had its Avengers Assemble moment as well, which was 10 in the TARDIS with Captain Jack and Donna and
and the
thingy Martha,
Sarah Jane.
They're all in there. Just go, you need 6 pilots. Everyone grab a bloody stick, kind of thing.
Yeah,
6 pilots. The old man in us are coming out, isn't it? We go,
I criticised that at the time. I'll stand by that again. That was cheesy. It was cheesy because it was unnecessary. I think it doesn't fit the mould of successful long-term TV shows because it was from a era that it bypassed all that stuff. So all that ensemble TV show stuff, it doesn't have it because it's in this. It's like in a mold of its own, isn't it? So well, we're going forward. We know it's going to be progressive in inverted commas and have more of the kind of social aware messaging. He's already said that, so we've talked about it. I'm not going to do it again because I don't think it's worth it. But they'll probably beat us about the head with some of that stuff. But what else are they going to do? What are they going to do to make this iteration different from all the others that have come before it? Is it like you say? Is it going to be? I think we're looking more at story than message. Is it going to be? I don't know. I'm going to predict Russell's going to go back to basics. So he's going to try and go back to basics because he's already done it with the dance number, and like I said last week, where it was John Sim and the toy maker, same thing. I think he's going to go back to basics and he's going to do a bad wolf on us, and he's going to try and capture lightning in a bottle again and do that steady build to the end of the series. That's how I think he's going to do it, in an attempt to go back to basics and try and do it again. But I don't. Bad Wolf worked once, and when they tried to do Torchwood in series 2, it was so obvious what they were doing. It became a bit of a running joke, didn't it? This is Torchwood reference. So, and then Moffat tried to do the opposite and go really complex, and that really just got too weird. So I don't know. I think he's going to go back to basics. I think I read that Ruby is a foundling, so a child without parents that was just found. And I think that'll be the mystery that'll be series 1. Who is she? What is she? How does that all work?
She's Clara.
That was brilliant, wasn't
it? And then I just go, nope, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I've had
Clara's mum, or something like River Song, just so obvious that it's like, oh God, I can see this coming like a truck. You can just see it. If it's Clara,
oh God, it's coming. We just can't get rid of it. Could you imagine it's Clara?
Oh, she'll be the Rani. That'll be the other thing people say, guaranteed, because she's female. I genuinely don't know, but looking at those ratings, they've got
to do something.
They've got to do something because people are tuning out, and it's just the core group that are left that are watching.
And so again, having not watched Jodie's era because it was bad, and not watched the end of Capaldi's run because I couldn't be asked. If Doctor Who just came back and was just fantasy fun, just fun, because actually, has it lost that kind of sense of fun and whimsy?
Yeah, I would say
series 1 was good. It had some good jokes, but it was definitely this is here to get us back on track. This is Doctor Who. This is what we're doing. Yeah. Then 10 was fun and whimsy.
Yeah.
11 continued that tradition.
Yeah.
And then when it began to get complex, it began to disappear episode us.
Yeah.
And then obviously Capaldi was very kind of more dour, but again, I haven't watched enough of it to make that assessment.
A very traditional Doctor Who portrayal. So very William Hartnell kind of. Yeah, I still like Capaldi's run. Even though it has hokiness and Clara and everything else, it was still good. And he was some really good performances, and I feel sorry for him. But yeah, no, it's the fun graph has gone down as we've gone through the series.
Yeah. So actually, if they just have, I'm going to sound like a broken record, a well-written story of the week or a two-parter of the week that just does its job and ticks its boxes, then it doesn't need to do anything else. It just needs to be good, watchable TV.
Yeah.
And I think
sorry, go ahead.
That's kind of where, if you're trying to like force a narrative arc, or you're trying to force something new, or you're trying to force whatever into it, that detracts from just write a good TV show. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, I think Ncuti Gatwa's got the energy. We saw that already, so I think he could definitely give it a bit of a kick up the arse and actually give it some energy, because that's what it needs, a little bit more oomph and a bit of pizzazz. And I think, he can do that. I'm not seeing, can't remember the actress's name. I think she's in Coronation Street or something like that. I've not seen her, so I don't know what her performances are like. Yeah.
No, I've not watched Corrie, so I don't know. But again, even like the trailer for the Christmas episode, just him climbing up ladders and running on rooftops, you go, actually, that's
what it needs, isn't it? Just
whimsy. Yeah.
And the goblins look okay. A lot of people don't like them, but I think that's quite cool. I think it's
but they're also their classic effects, aren't they? Yeah, and I think also like the change of tone. I saw a little meme earlier, and like what you had Hartnell was going hello, and she was just going babes, going all right,
still in his pants. I don't know. I've got one more piece of news which I forgot to do at the start. Have you seen Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper at the convention this week?
No,
they were at, I think is it Greatest Show in the Galaxy, the one that's always in like some compound somewhere. You went years ago. It was like in Butlins or something like that. I can't remember. It's one of the conventions.
No, that was Sci-Fi Weekender.
Maybe it might be Sci-Fi Weekender actually. It's like Monopoly event.
Really? Is that still going?
Something. It's like the winter one.
Say, Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
No, that's the one that I went to. Yeah. I knew it was something like that. Anyway, Monopoly events. So this is just a clip. He did a Q&A with Billie Piper, and there's lots of it's worth going to see. It's like, he talks about a lot of not Doctor Who stuff, but it is worth watching the whole thing, because it is, He says a lot of stuff that we already know, but it's the first time I've actually seen him say it. So let's play this. So the question comes about him coming back to Doctor Who.
You'd all love to see Christopher come back as the Doctor, right? See? Now, what would have to happen for that to become a reality?
Sack Russell T Davies, sack Jane Tranter, sack Phil Collinson, sack Julie Gardner, and I'll come back. So can you arrange that?
Did you find it hard to be like associated with the character, given?
Not at all. I love being associated with the character.
Okay.
Just don't like being associated with those people and the politics that went on in the first series. The first series was a mess, and it wasn't to do with me or Billie. It was to do with the people who were supposed to make it, and it was a mess. And the first series of any show, Billie did Confessions of a...
Cool girl.
You know, first series, nobody wants to know. The BBC were like, we're going to keep a big distance from this. And then as soon as it was a success, they were all up close going, I was responsible for that, but they were all like at a distance, like this is a folly, Eccleston's folly, Piper's folly, Russell T Davies' folly. And then when it worked, suddenly, oh yeah, I worked on that. They wouldn't come anywhere near us. And then they jump on the bandwagon. Those kind of politics, I'm not very good at handling. I can't swallow that shit.
There you go. I know, it's great.
That was not sugarcoated. That was, they're all fucking idiots.
Yeah, because obviously he came out with his autobiography, didn't he, not that long ago, and explained the reason why he left with mental health, and there was a lot of politics. And it's not it's old news what he's saying, but it's the first time he's actually physically said it. He doesn't like any of them, and there's more in there. It's worth watching it where he talks about there was no support structure, there was no such thing about supporting staff with mental health problems. He talks about Billie being sort of like a new actress and no one looked after her, so he had to look after her, and she acknowledges it. I know in that clip she kind of like sort of facial expressions are a bit different.
You can see he's off on one. And actually, when going back, Christ, however many years, when we were told that companion was going to be Billie Piper, I think we at the time went, really?
Yeah.
What, the singer? Are you sure?
Yeah. There's all that
was
kind
the
of
thing. She wasn't an actress, so literally the whole weight was on his shoulders, being the name.
Yeah, there's a big bit in there where he talks about looking after her and the fact that they were she was just dropped in the deep end, and he basically took her under wing, and she acknowledges it, and she sort of like thanks him for it and stuff like that. So they obviously had a really good relationship, and he just definitely alludes to the fact that everyone else was like a closed group of people, and those two were on the outside, which kind of matches with all that stuff with Barrowman and all that other stuff. But the fact is, he names everybody who's just been brought back to save Doctor Who as people he would never ever work with. It's like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah. And those punches were not pulled, were they? That was very much get rid of these idiots and start again.
Yeah, so he obviously doesn't like them at all. But yeah, it was an interesting thing because he's been doing the rounds this week, and it's like, ooh. But yeah, he talks a bit more about Doctor Who and stuff like that, but it's other stuff as well. So it's a shame because you would have done a second series at least, but obviously they and I think as well, you look back on it, the way it was handled by the BBC, because they were just in their infancy anyway, weren't they? At the time, it was he doesn't want to get typecast, blah 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 blah, and they leaked it themselves.
I didn't want to do this. Christopher Eccleston, how did he get typecast? Get a grip.
Yeah, and I remember they leaked it, and now you look back and go, they leaked it themselves to protect their own arses because he was going. And it was it's a shame, but that was just a nice little tidbit there. It's like, oh dear.
Yeah, and I've just had a thought actually while we talk about all of this. Obviously, the 60th was a thing. They could have brought back the Doctor Who experience.
Oh yeah, the one in
Well, because originally it travelled, didn't it?
It did, because it went to London, didn't it? And it did all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
So if you were going to celebrate the 60th, you could have dug all the stuff out of storage, had it run for a month.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I just don't think there was any appetite from the BBC or any of them to do it. Because again, it feels, it might me just saying it, but it feels like they didn't want to talk about the past. They're all focused on the future now. This is the future. This is the future. We're just going to not talk about what went on before, not even show it in any shape or form, except for a shot of the toy maker, and that's it. Nothing else. We didn't see anything from the past.
Yeah, but again, there was enough stuff in those 3 episodes to fill a small exhibition. You could have all, you could have all the outfits.
Oh yeah, all the animatronic stuff. Yeah, and a little bit taster of things to come. You could have the goblins there and said, "Oh look, this is coming Christmas."
Yeah, exactly. You could have had all of that and literally open it the weekend that the first one airs or the third one airs, and have it run for a month. And it would have made some money. Or it would have broken even at least. People would have been up for it.
I don't know. Strange times.
Yes. So, favourite episode of Doctor Who then, Tim?
Well, I'm looking at the time. It's not 10, but maybe we should hold on to that one for another time. We've only got 10 minutes left before the hour mark.
Yeah, we knew this was going to happen. We went, we've got no different episode. By the way, we're not going to have actual time for the episode.
Yeah, we'll get this spat out before Christmas. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, I think that... I can't imagine.
So next time on Journeys in Fandom.
Probably in 2024. Next time is the review of the Christmas episode, because we're going to do it Christmas Day,
Yeah.
aren't we? We're going to get up. We're going to do it Christmas Day. No, we're not.
Are
No, I don't think we are. I don't think I cope. I don't know if I could be festive and grumpy all at the same time. It just probably won't
I
work.
can.
Actually,
I
you
can be
can.
grumpy while wearing tinsel. I love it.
Yeah, so the next episode will be the review of what is it
Church
called?
on
Church
the church
Ruby
on
Road.
Ruby Lane, isn't it?
Because
Ruby Road.
Ruby Lane or whatever it is, because she's named after the lane she was found on. That's the whole
Yes.
mystery. Because she'll be
Road.
David Tennant. That's what she'll be. That's it. I've predicted it. Ruby will be David Tennant. And it'll be bad.
Third episode of David Tennant.
It'll be bad
He's a new
CGI.
companion.
Just his head on her little body. It'll just be this really crappy CGI.
Oh God!
There you go.
Oh, God,
Spoilers.
that's all I can see. I've closed my eyes. That's all I can see. God, help
And
me.
Shooty will be in his pants for the entire series, and no one will mention it. It'll got to the point. You know when you kind of got to the point where someone does something, but they've done it so many times you can't point it out anymore. It'll just be that.
It's when you meet someone and you don't get a name, and then for the third time of asking, you going, "Yep, you just matey boy now, aren't you?"
Yeah. So that'd be it. He'd just be wearing his pants for the entire. That trailer is false. It's just going to be in his pants, and that's just what it's going to be.
It's all,
I think we've had enough of Doctor Who for 4 weeks or 3 weeks, however long. It's been 4 weeks. We said it earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, but we're doing it again next week. We're literally going to be 5 in a row.
Oh God, yeah. It's at some point next week.
Our fan base is going to be had enough of Doctor Who, isn't it?
We have to think of what else can we talk about. I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
We'll have a gap between Christmas and Easter. There'll be a gap.
Yeah. We won't talk about Doctor Who at all for like 3 months.
And then and then when it comes back in Easter, it'll be every week for 12 weeks.
Oh God, yeah.
God,
That's got your face of what are we doing? Yeah, I think not having a fixed release schedule is a really good idea.
Yeah, because they can just chuck it out whenever, catch people unawares.
Yeah. Oh God, oh no. So, at some point in the future, we will talk about our favourite episodes.
Yes,
of
hold that
Doctor
thought.
Who from the past and present. Next time, we will talk about Christmas. And then we won't talk about Doctor Who anymore, we promise.
Yeah, until they do something else wrong, and then we'll be back on it, back on them.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll think of something to be really grumpy about.
Yeah, there'll be something.
Yeah.
There'll be something happening. Russell will come out with some crazy canon-changing comment in like a tweet over Christmas.
No, of course he will. But actually, while we've got like 2 minutes left on the clock, admittedly, from my own other life, Hasbro announced that they're laying off 1,100 members of staff, which is a big number.
That's a lot of people.
Because people aren't buying Hasbro games anymore. But that also affects Dungeons and Dragons and Magic, which Wizards of the Coast, which is basically their golden goose, which Hasbro are killing at a rate of knots. So Baldur's Gate 3 wins Game of the Year, really good, brilliant game. Of the initial meeting that Larian had with Wizards, none of those staff are now employed.
Wow.
And you just go, dear God, people. So I think there's an episode to talk about just stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff where you just go, really? It's like the I can't believe this part of fandom, where someone will do something stupid or a company just goes, actually, we're evil. And you go, yes, we know.
Oh, there you go. Literally 2 days ago, Twitch said they were going to allow more boobs on Twitch, and then 24 hours later, they backtracked.
Yes, they did. Yeah, it was the topless stream, wasn't it, where you literally see nothing, but it's obvious that there's something there.
Yeah, and then they backtrack. So, it's little random stuff like that. Just kind of go, oh, missed that. Oh, well, okay, fair enough. That's happening. No, it's not happening.
Yeah, I think one of our episodes in the new year should be a really episode.
Maybe that's it. 2024. Start of the look back on 2023 and go, really?
Really? Yes. Yes.
There
I think
go.
Yeah. The first episode of 2024 should be a look back in 2023 and go, really?
There we go. We've planned our next 2 episodes. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. the enjoyment that will definitely happen of the Christmas special, and then our retrospective of really. We can talk politics and all sorts. It'd be great.
Oh, it'd be good, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we can do our spin-off of Matt and Tim talk about the Conservative Party for an hour.
Journeys in
God,
Parliament.
why?
Parliament. Journeys in Parliament. There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder if we can bookmark that URL.
Journeys in Parliament.
On that note.
Yeah. Let's end this recording now. I can see our producer in the background going, no.
Radio. Yes. Until next time, Doctor Who fans, I will say cheerio.
Yes. And goodbye.